Good afternoon, folks. It's me all the way, George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, this is the first show of the new year. I would have had one last week, but we had a situation happen. Where I live here in North Carolina, we had a nasty storm. I believe someone said it was probably close to that level of a tornado, and it really put out my lights out. I woke up was the morning, the lights were on for about maybe a few minutes, and then boom. I left the house to do those, shopping, pick up a few things, and I came back. They were still out. Then come back on to I think about 4:30 that afternoon. So this is what we call predictions. What's going to happen in 2022 for this new year. We'll talk about shows that are coming up, events, women who might be going up to the women's bodybuilding division. Some women might be going down. It's a conversation they want to share. Now, like I said, if you follow my channel and if you know this, a while back, one of the probably one of the bigger channels that does women bodybuilding, that is the Female Bodybuilding channel, had spoke about me, and that is a great thing to have this channel, which is they do. AJ Roberts over there, him and JB. JB does film work. He's been in the game for a long time. AJ, he's been doing a long time. These guys, I think AJ works for Muscle Development magazine. That's a bodybuilding magazine. He used to have Body back in the day, but it's out of Canada. They changed their ideology with bodybuilding. But it's nice to have to be recognized for my commitment and work. Especially on women's bodybuilding. It doesn't get much attention. The women's divisions, period. I think physique, it gets a little bit more, but the fact is it's still struggling. This year will be the second year that the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic would not have women's physique part of the lineup, and that is something. And it's been almost I would say 9 years since they dropped it from the Olympia. Now I'm waiting for my partner Jared. I sent him an email. And we'll probably talk about. But while I'm here, we're going to talk about what's upcoming for the season. Now, if you follow Wings of Strength and other platforms that represent bodybuilding, the IFBB, the Olympia has been moved back to Vegas. And that's all right, but from what I hear, some ladies that I reach out to, they say they'd rather have it back in Orlando. I think Orlando was like a bigger platform, a lot more room. That's my brother Jared. Yo, happy New Year, partner.
How's it going?
That's all right, it's going too. Anyway, if you hadn't heard, the Female Body channel talked about our podcast, talked about me, and that's a great thing. I mean, this channel has been around for a while, and they spoke about us.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, and I give a shout out to you and everybody else who support this channel. Like I said, I'm just a little over 600 subscribers, and I'm still growing. And I got an interview coming up. This is a woman that you might have heard of, Lindsay Monzani. She's been I would say she's an NPC legend. We finally got a pro card, I think, back in 2019 or 2020. No, 2019. And it's a great opportunity to talk to a legend like her who's been in the game for as long as she has. But what we're talking about is what's going to go happen for this new year. As you know, there's been some shows added on to the women bodybuilding season, and also some changes. I'm posting a link later. There's a link of the updated list for the season for 2020. The first show I think going to be out is going to be the Toronto Pro, and that's going to be in I think May.
So
yeah,
I haven't seen I just saw the recent updated list, but yeah.
So that's going to be in May, and also there's going to be another show in Canada, in Vancouver. Also, I think about that time, a little around about June, is a new show, the Indy Pro, the Indianapolis Pro. One of my dear friends, Jada Beverly shout out the information to me about how now it was just, I think they only had men's open, men's 212, and women's bikini. Now they have women's bodybuilding. So now it's another show for women bodybuilding to have a stage at, and also opportunity for somebody to earn their qualification for the 2022 Olympia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we got people that's come in. KL ain't no angel. I appreciate you, brother, coming through. And my dear sister, Miss Fishiana's Fights. Hello, gentlemen. Hello, lady. We really appreciate you. And hey, what up to you too, KL. We appreciate people coming through, dropping their likes, subscribing, sharing, commenting. We all appreciate that because it really tells me that you really like Sally Fields when she won that her first Oscar. You like me. You really, really like me. So, other than that, I think what was the next shows after that?
Let me check the list here.
Because I think it's supposed to be the New York is after the Indy, and I think the Omaha also. Yeah, and the thing is, like,
oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Right. Anyway, when you get just tap in when you let you know. Anyway, also, this is about the time. If you are ladies who are professional bodybuilders, Winter Strength have their ambassador program. And usually, I think my dear friend Tina Williams told me she posted on her Facebook that usually start around about this time in January. So you have to apply. There's a good chance you might get picked up and could just not. You know, we have some people they look at that have the opportunity. So if you are a female bodybuilder and you have a look or something about you, a style about you that you want to try, do the ambassador program. They give you, I think, about $10,000. I think I don't know how often they do. I think it may be a one-time shuttle, maybe every month. I'm not sure. I can ask Tina about that later. And also, you also work some of the booths at the shows. So if you are, you get to meet and greet some other bodybuilders. Also, you can reach out, maybe, help some up and coming bodybuilders. If you're a pro and you do these shows sometimes, especially you do the pro am stuff. It's a great opportunity to help some women who want to come up in the sport. So, now as you also, I said earlier, the Olympias moved back to Las Vegas, where it's been for the last 20 years. As you know, back in the day, both the Olympias, men and women, it was done separately. You had the men, they had their show separately. You had the women had their show separately. But I think because the cost of doing some of these shows back in different areas, they sell it in Vegas, and it's been done for the last 20 years. But because of what happened in 2020 with the virus, because I'll call it by its name, I call it the virus. It hit me, it really shook up because Nevada, they had some kind of crowd capacity restriction. And because of that, they moved it to Florida, which is a little bit not as up on the idea of what the virus is. I just saw in the news that their governor might be sick. And, and it's just, you got to be, people like that lack the intelligence to understand how these things work. You should be prepared for yourself. Anyway, they moved back to Vegas. I know somebody told me, some of the ladies told me said they liked it in Orlando because it's got a lot more room. They can enjoy themselves. But one of the guys who I follow me told me that, hey, the parties are better in Vegas than in Orlando. So let's say this. So let's hope that nothing goes off. We know we had a new variant coming out. I'm usually don't travel that much when I'm home. I'm usually go get some stuff at the house. Get some groceries and be at the house at the time. Wear my mask. I'm double vaccinated. I can't get my booster in another 6 months. But you know what? I try to take care of myself most definitely. How about you, bro?
Yeah, I'm double vaccinated, having a booster. Pretty much the same thing for the most part. Don't really go out that much. Honestly, I think this year though, I may seriously consider going to the New York Pro, simply because of one, I've never been to a female bodybuilding competition, and two, it's so close to me. It's not even. Well, we could go over the schedule because the location for it has changed.
Yeah, I'm doing about to say I'm thinking about going to a show. I know one lady reached out to me, asked me to come to this show. I think about it, but then The one thing was where they were having a show, I had to get on a plane, and I'd never been on a plane in my life. I'm 47 years old, never been on a plane. I'm gonna admit that. And I did if you check my community in my community section of my channel, I put a thing where I was like asking people what shows should I go to. Now I put on 4 shows that there's the that Linda has moved her shows all to Georgia, and Georgia's not that good way from I said. There's Savannah and the Atlanta show. Also, there's Tampa. Florida's not that good way from where I stay in North Carolina. It's a good ways, but like I said, it's a little closer than anything else. And also, there's the Olympia. There's a lot of people say I should go to Olympia, but like I said, I have to fly a plane. But if I really serious, if I get my funds together and set up right, maybe I say to me, I always want to go to Vegas. Vegas is you have a good time, and as long as that old saying, stay in Vegas, stay in Vegas.
Well, I mean, I went on a plane once, at least a couple. I mean, as an adult, I went on a plane once, by myself too, cross country. Like, it was definitely an experience to say the least. Going by myself and then getting food poisoning at the Houston airport. Moldy food. Why was?
Oh my God! Yeah, they give you the honey roasted peanuts.
No, it was a pizza that had mold underneath it.
Ugh, oh my God! They should do better. It must have been Spirit Airlines or somebody. I hate to laugh at your pain, brother, but that's just yeah.
Afterwards,
I think
afterwards I got like the stuff I was crapping out was just.
Yeah, here's the best advice. If you ever get sick, like I remember I had pneumonia a few years ago, and you get sick, drink a lot of water, and also have some ginger ale. Ginger ale helps settle your stomach. Water helps you hydrate because you'll be puking sometimes. Helps you get you hydrated. Ginger ale helps your stomach. I done that when I had pneumonia, and it really helped out. Sometimes I couldn't sleep, and then I was going through a lot of stuff. I was puking, and that pneumonia. I had it like it was in my left. It was a left or a right lung. I was in the hospital a few days. Came home. I was still struggling, but that can't help settle my stomach for keeping stuff down or else. But I'm thinking about maybe I know it's supposed to say Olympia, but Savannah's a lot closer for me because where I live at, I'm just no more than 2 miles from the South Carolina border. All I gotta do, I'm not gonna drive because I'm not a big driver. It's a long way to drive. I was looking research and I think a ticket's cheaper. Just ticket, it takes. I think it's a 4.5 hour ride by train. And if I'm driving, I gotta stop, get gas. Take a break. Train, I can just get there, be there, do a round trip, and come back. But if the other ones look promises, maybe I might go to Atlanta or I might go to Tampa. Tampa's a bigger show. But I get a chance to see some people that I've talked to in my interviews, or people I have been in contact with. That'd be a great opportunity. And also with you, you get to see some people that you've been a fan of, and especially New York. I think they don't really have it in New York. Because one lady's telling me that they have it in Jersey, I believe. Those things say was I think
I'll get to that when I go on the schedule.
I think
like the location too.
Because they had it in Florida the last couple of years because everything because New York when the virus hit, New York was probably one of the hardest hit states next to California and a couple of states, so they had to move to Florida, and now they have it back.
Mm-hmm. Now it's like all Florida.
Florida's a mess because they have a stupid governor. But anyway, and so the big thing is what's going to happen in 2022. What's the season going to like? As you know, I follow certain ladies who are up and comers. One lady I follow is one Miss Chelsea. Is Chelsea Dion, and her and another lady by the name of Alexis Castro just earned their pro card for women's bodybuilding. Now, Alexis has been competing as a bodybuilder amateur for quite some time. And Chelsea was originally doing physique, but she made the switch. The story she told in an interview that she went to the Olympia. She met people like, I think, Andrew Shaw and Marjorie Martin. They talked to her and told her that, hey, you have a great look for I think she switched over to women bodybuilding. Now, she's been competing as a bodybuilder for quite some time, but then for the last few years, she's been competing for physique. So there's a good chance her and Alexis might be. We're not sure if they're going to compete this year. Sometimes some competitors do. They take a step back and make some adjustments and then compete in 2023. Some other ladies I've been reaching out to, they're saying they're taking this year off and they're going to come back 2023. Some people that I want to see compete this year. One of my favorites is Jay Fuchs. Now Jay, she lives in Switzerland, and I think now with the restrictions of lifting for traveling, you don't have to do a 2-week quarantine like you used to. You can come here, go back. I would love to see Jay. I haven't seen Jay since 2018. I think she's an amazing body with a great physique. Some stuff I'm hearing that she may not want to compete, but Jay has been one. I've been watching her. If you watch Jay on social media, like she's on Facebook, IG, she's on Twitter. She is getting just huge. And all that muscle is she just sitting there. I'm not sure if she's going to do shows overseas, but I know more likely people want to see her compete here.
Yeah. It's like such a waste, though. I have such huge mass and not be able to show it off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I looked it up, and she's like for 200 something pounds or something, like 213.
Damn. And then when she cuts that extra mass down to pure muscle, she'd probably be like 170.
Yeah, I mean, even probably like 190.
Yeah, 180 like that. And she's been pumping, getting size, and and also another lady who I follow is Lisa Cross. She lives in England. And the thing is, this is something that we straight to do. They do have the Romanian Muscle Fest, but there's most of the other shows like the Big Men Show, the Europa Show, and the Portugal shows are not really what say we strength shows. They should try to do shows overseas. I would say, I know the cost of expense and the travel, but it'd be an opportunity for a lot of women who are bodybuilders who live overseas to have a show for themselves. There's so few shows other than Romanian Muscle Fest, like I said, a couple others, but maybe a couple more shows would be a great opportunity. There's ladies I follow like, Christina Lay, Kristen Lay, who lives in Australia. In Australia right now, they're locked down, but maybe by this summer, they should lift their restrictions. There'll be a chance for opportunity for competitors to leave the country and compete. And there's one lady I follow by the name of Abby O. Jimenez. She's from the Philippines. Philippines are going to be really tight, but I follow, and she competed physique, but she has gotten huge. And I think I used to talk to her a good bit on social media. I tell her, I think you might be switching to women's bodybuilding. She says she's thinking about it. There's a couple ladies who I reach out saying, you're going to do, you're going to go up to women's bodybuilding, whether or not. One lady that was mentioned in AJ's review over this weekend was Angela Yao. Angela Yao earned her pro card, I think, in 2020. And she has an amazing physique, amazing body. She said that she was going to women's bodybuilding. And I reached out to her and said, I heard that you might be going to women's bodybuilding. She said no. She asked me who said it. I said, Female Bodybuilding Channel said it. Because, I thought you were, I think she had an interview with them before. But she's, I looked at her. She's put on some good amount of size. She's been doing some powerlifting since 2021. And there's a good chance she might just do it for physique. But if you look at her, and I'm gonna see if I can find a picture of her, and I'll show it to you. If you look at her, she has the aesthetics for women's bodybuilding. I mean, she has a great physique. She's also half white, half Japanese, so she has a great look to her about her. I mean, very exotic looking. She's she does some modeling stuff. She does a lot of arty stuff. Let me see if I can find a picture. And she has, a level that she would make a great women's bodybuilder. I'm trying to look it up here. Let me see. And give me a minute and it should be fine. So I know she responded to my comment. And it's here in IG. I got so many stuff. Yeah. Was somebody banging on the door?
No, that's just me tapping.
Uh-huh.
Too loud.
Yeah. Let me see. I think I should find her. And I think she has some good qualities that probably make her great, Also, I've been in contact with some other bodybuilders. Uh, Up and coming competitor by name of Angel Ray Gameth. She subscribed to my channel. I did, as you know, I did a couple weeks ago. I did a movie called Flex and Sex Appeal. I put up against another lady who's an up and comer by the name of Yvonne Pennington, and she really liked the video. She said that she found it uh, by accident. It was posted on. I think she has a YouTube channel, and I want to what also find her if you're interested in her. Anybody, her name is Angela Ray Gameth. Google her. She's on YouTube. Get her channel to grow because this will help some ladies to get more attention. If they are on social media, subscribe to them, get it to grow. Help them. Become get to the next level because I think that's one thing. If social media, if you get more social media attention, you get also more opportunities. Also for these ladies to become, get promotion. Some promoters want to put their money behind them, help them on their way a long way to in competitions. Like I said, it's tough being a bodybuilder. Especially financially. I think it's a lot harder for the women more than the men because they don't the pocket's not as deep. So I guess okay. So here we go. This is Angela Yao, and Angela is wow. I mean, she is Yao. I'm telling you, I think she says she's done compete in physique, but if you look at her quads, look at the lat development. I think that the judge is going to tell her if she does a physique show, and she'll place. Like I said, the thing is, for these ladies who compete in physique, if they can place and keep in the top like top 5 of the shows, and they'll be like bottom next to the bottom, they'll stay in the division. But if they don't place too well and struggle, they'll go up to women's bodybuilding and see there's more opportunities for them. There's been a lot of physique competitors switching from women's physique to women's open in the last few years. One of the champions, Andrea Shaw, she was women's physique and she switched to women's open. Boom, wins the Olympia, wins the Rise of Phoenix, and he repeats. And also one lady who was a fan of Sheena Oleg, who I saw on an interview with AJ. Sheila had shoulder surgery, and I reached out to Sheila. I said, what Sheila told me about it because I want to see the best for you because I'm a fan of hers. She's a beautiful lady, great female bodybuilder. She also did physique with Shauna Boswell, Jada Beverly, a couple others who have done interviews with who switched from women's physique to women's open, and. I think if you look at Angela, I know she said she wouldn't do it, but she has look at her lat. Her lats are she has more of a lat development that could be great. And one thing I like is she has a beautiful physique. One thing I'm gonna say to her, and this is just me saying to you, don't get breast implants. I love the women with pure pecs. This is my personal thing. Breast implant is good for porn, stripping, and modeling. Some athletes shouldn't get them because sometimes it just. Some ladies who don't get them just say because it messes up their physique, especially I've seen some women who get them and they just don't look as good as they should. Sometimes they might get really cheap jobs done. I know some ladies who've done reconstruction surgery. I've seen it show Botch. I used to watch this a lot. Botch, where a couple female bodies have done there was one lady I forgot her name, and one lady by the name of I know her name. She wasn't a pro, but she's I would say NPC legend, But I think Angela, by looks of her, she's putting on some good amount of size since she won her pro card back in I think 2019, and she looks pretty impressive. I think there's a good chance she might even decide to switch. Never know, but it's up to her how she wants to do what she's going to do or not. So that's it. So
do you want to go over the schedule and maybe some of my suggestions of what shows should be added to female bodybuilding schedule?
Okay, go ahead, shoot.
Okay, so basically the schedule currently. The updated schedule is basically that Pro schedule for 2022 is basically uh, in May. We're going to have the first show is going to be in Victoria, British Columbia, um, in called Vancouver Island Showdown.
So that's good.
Yeah,
And then the thing about this, I think that after that is the Toronto Pro, right?
no, the Indie Pro,
Indie Pro.
then the New York Pro, then the Toronto Pro.
Yeah. So the thing is, with Canada, they still have the restrictions have lifted for traveling. You don't have to do quarantine from what I'm heard, but you have to be vaccinated. I know some ladies say they're not comfortable with it. I know Mala Ash, she went over there and she did it because the fact was, she got vaccinated because she wanted to do Romania and try to get qualification for the 20 for this year's Olympia. So this is an opportunity. I'm not sure. Some ladies who have followed live in Canada, like Robin Triple T Hillis. She hadn't competed since almost, I think, in 2 or 3 years. There's a good chance she might do that show because it's Vancouver, or she might do the Toronto. Also, the qualification for Miss Olympia has changed from 5 to 3. So Mona Pelsel, who took fourth at the last year's Olympia, she either has to use her points or it'd be better for her to do a show and qualify, because if you go by points, there could be a chance someone would do 3 or 4 shows and they get enough points where they can, boom, they might. She has 12. That may not be worth. Remember, Margita Samalova had 16 because she got extra points from when she did the 2019. Was it 2020? I think it was 2020, 2019. Which I think it was the 2020 Romania Muscle Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, if somebody wins a pro show and they have a lot of points, those points just disappear as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's always like a factor that should be taken in. But anyway, back to the schedule. So
Okay.
in May, we got Victoria, we got the Indie Pro in Indianapolis, we got the New York Pro in Teaneck, New Jersey, which is like northern New Jersey, kind of. It's like a nice little suburban. I mean, kind of like it's a very diverse, like nice little area of northern New Jersey, basically. Look it up on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
It's
I
a great
think. I think. Somebody told me because it's right there across from the river from New York. You can see New York from that area. Where one lady's told me. I got family. I got an aunt and some cousins that live in Patterson, New Jersey. If I ever think about going there, I can go see my aunt and go see the show in Teaneck. But I think it'd be more conducive to try shows a little bit more closer to me. Okay, what's next?
Yeah. Well, I'm mostly a southern New Jersey family kind
Yeah,
of person myself, but
yeah, it'd be easy for you because you got family up that way, right?
it's down in South Jersey, so like I'm talking like Seattle City, Cape May kind of area. But I don't live that far from that area. Originally, the New York Pro was scheduled to be in White Plains, which is a suburb of New York City. But they changed it to New Jersey for I have no idea honestly.
I think probably the cost because White Plains is upstate New York. Jersey,
Oh yeah,
Jersey, yeah, Jersey's a little cheaper than to do it. Like even the New York Giants, they play in Jersey.
yeah. But there's like a lot of like very wealthy, like very rich areas up in that particular area of the state of New York. It's pretty insane, honestly. But yeah. But anyway, and then you have the in June you got the Toronto Pro in Toronto. You got Omaha. Got the Puerto Rico in same June, and that's all in June. Um, And just a reminder, Puerto Rico is part of the United and is part of the
U.S.
greater.
territory.
It's
Yeah.
it's U.S. Part of the greater United States. You can fly there basically without a
Yeah.
passport. That's what I
Yeah.
always mention.
Yeah. Plus, I think it's cheaper. 'Cause I remember this. I was watching the movie with the actor comedian Paul Rodriguez, and how he had a family in New York. There was like with a movie where he talking about where if you get deported by somebody else, but if you want to go back to Puerto Rico, hey, it's $99, and boom, you get a plane, get back home. So,
Yeah.
what's next?
So in July we got Mr. Big Evolution in Portugal. Um, I
The
don't
Portugal
know
Pro.
where. Yeah. We got the Linda Murray Atlanta Pro in Atlanta, obviously. Um, that's also in July. Then we've got Chicago, um, which is in July, and that's it for July. Chicago's back in Chicago, so
Yeah, because it was the last couple of years. It was done in Atlanta. The last Chicago Pro was done in Atlanta because Illinois had put in restrictions too, just like New York.
yeah. Um, okay, so August we got Tampa, just only Tampa in August, so not
Hmm.
too many in August.
Hmm.
Um, in September, we got the Linda Murray Savannah Pro in September. So um, eh, I also Miss Olympia. Okay, so basically on this list, Miss Olympia isn't here. Um,
What it did was
that's
it's
not
not
like
Miss Olympia. They put it. It's Mr. Olympia. It's part of the Olympia weekend, so it's not.
I don't even see Mr. Olympia on here. I know it's on the schedule. It's just they don't have a date yet, I think, or something.
Actually, you have a
Um,
date.
do we have a
Be,
date?
yeah, because the Olympia is going to be done on December the 15th to the 18th.
15.
Yeah, because they already posted that. So technically, it should be on. It should be on the list. But my guess they just gonna say, hey, because they already have. There's no point dropping it. If as you know,
And they,
Jake.
yeah, they didn't. They've done this before. They've done this before. I know this for a fact that it's
Hmm.
on the list. It's just it's not on the list currently.
Yeah.
And, I don't know exactly. Like, okay, so it is in December.
Hmm.
I thought it would be in September, but okay.
No, no,
Um,
because I think you have the Rising Phoenix. I think
okay, so
posted.
Rising Phoenix. Okay, so that's gonna be November. Um, yeah, we got a bunch of shows in November all of a sudden. We got
The Romanian Muscle Fest.
we got Romania after that, and we got last but not least, well, other than the Miss Olympia, which is last technically, we got Big Man Pro
Hmm.
in Spain.
Hmm.
That's probably in that little. I don't know the city, but it starts in with an A.
I think Adacinta. I think they had it last year. Um, no Europe championships.
Oh, wait a minute. I fucking. How did I miss that?
That's all right.
The Europa is literally like right after the Rising Phoenix and before Romania. I don't even know how I missed that. And that's also in Spain too. Like what is going on
Yeah,
here? So basically, like there's like a three three Miss Olymp- I mean three women's bodybuilding competitions in Spain. Like, something about the Iberian Peninsula with Portugal, Spain, all these uh, women's bodybuilding competitions there. It's like
I think it's a lot easier for certain women to get there because it's not that far from countries like I think Germany, England, you know, France, Italy. It's right there, right there, in a spot where a lot of European bodybuilders who want to go to a show, it's not that far for them. Or also, you don't have that super train that goes through. I think it goes between France and England, and all. You take that and then take the rest of the way.
Yeah. Um, yeah. And it's a nice tourist destination too. I think if I were to go over like what shows I think should be added, um,
Good.
I think um, basically what I'm seeing here is there are more men's bodybuilding shows, but there's also a bunch of men's physique shows. It's just exploded as well.
Yeah.
And the women's bodybuilding just doesn't have as many shows as them. I think if we were in a perfect world, okay, let's say um, I control the IFBB and I can do whatever I want. I can schedule whatever I want whenever I want. I would have a rule that the women's bodybuilders need to have the same amount of shows as the men's bodybuilders. Like that would be like the bare minimum right away. Um, um, I think we agree as well. Um, and I think so. If I were to do certain shows that I think should be added to this list, I think right away we would both agree. Like, I think the Miss International should return. It's um, it's a tragedy it hasn't um, yet at all. Because um, uh, do you know the history of where the Miss International came from originally?
Yeah, because I was it was created by, it was an alternative. Remember, because usually it was part of All-Stars Original Classic, and then
Okay, so I want to go over like with the original because it even predates that technically.
so where did it start? You can tell me now, because I remember all knows they started with, it was part of the All-Stars Original Classic for quite a long time.
It started in 1986 before the Arnold Classic in 1989. So
Oh,
basically, um, the Miss International was created in conjunction with IFBB Pro World Championship, um, which was set in Columbus, Ohio, um, and it was pretty. It wasn't the Arnold Classic, but it was pretty,
because
prestigious
back,
to say the
'cause
least.
yeah, back then you only had women's bodybuilding and men's bodybuilding. You
Yeah,
didn't have that many divisions now as you compare it now.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so um, yeah, so it was set up in 1986, and 1987 it wasn't held. 1988 it was held again. Um, but based off the article I read from Steve, I
Winterstrom,
Winterberg.
not Weinberger, be Steve Winterstrom.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's a
Historian.
truthfully, he's a historian of women's bodybuilding. He was married to a female by the name of Lisa Lyons back in the day, and he used
Oh
to
yeah,
also had his own magazine, which was Women Physique,
yeah.
was Women Physique World. It was actually Women Physique Publications, but then it became Women Physique World. It was like one of the few female bodybuilders, few magazines dedicated to female bodybuilding. I still got some issues I collected over the years.
I've seen those too. Yeah, he's a great historian with all this stuff. But um, ironically enough, uh, Jim
Manion,
Berger, yeah,
Manion, yeah, Jim Manion,
Mannion,
yeah.
Mannion, I'm getting
Hmm.
mixed up. Um, and Arnold Schwarzenegger decided that they wanted to set up a competition in Columbus, and they wanted to include the men and women, but they wanted to um, they set up they renamed uh, IFBB uh, Pro World Championships to the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic.
Mm-hmm.
That was the men's division start, and it was all part of a larger umbrella of the Arnold Sports Festival for that part of the weekend in Columbus. And but the Miss International uh, was included part of it, but it still maintained its original name.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, if we're going by it, the Miss International is older than the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic.
Yeah. Also,
It
the
was
champion.
originally, oh sorry, it was originally a pro AM show. I think amateurs could also compete there originally. Like this was before Arnold Classic, and then it became Invitation.
I think it still is. I don't know if it still is a program or not. I think it might be. But also, one of the first women to be Miss International is a lady I reached out to a while ago. I was talking to another lady who's an amateur bodybuilder. This lady is her trainer and her friend of hers is Kathy Playo, and she was in the early ages of like Corey, Laura Crawford, and we say Laura Craval, and she was the first. I believe she was the first Miss International, and then she competed for a good part of the 80s up to the 90s. She retired. She now goes by her name of Cat Tripoli. I want to say the name right. And I reached out to her because the lady I'm talking to about doing the interview. She said she talked to her about if she wanted to do the interview with her, but she's not sure she wants to. I will reach out to her. I hope she responds to my message. I would love to talk to a woman who's a legend like herself, who especially come up in the times of the early years of female bodybuilding. With shows
Now,
where rubber shows like with somebody like Corey Everson and Mary Roberts and Sandy Riddell and Laura Craval. I mean, but we great talking, but I'm not sure if she's gonna be interested or not. But
was
yeah,
was she was she from was it 1989 or 1986?
I think it was maybe 86 or maybe 89. She
Give
was
me
the
one
first
second.
Miss International.
Okay, so if it was the first one, it would be 1986. But give me one second. Yes, it's late. So give me one second.
All right. And the thing also is, as y'all know, Miss International does exist, but it's no longer a pro show. It's a pro qualifier. About 2017, Jake Woods, he added to it to the Chicago Pro, the Tim Partner show, so it could be a pro qualifier. No, my dear friend Tina Williams, she earned her pro card at that show. Susanna Jacobs, I can't say her name right. Ona, she's a Romanian bodybuilder who's good friends with Alina Popa. Um, Patty Henson. Also, one lady who I'm trying to reach out to, Sandra Herwin. She won it last year, but didn't compete at the Rising Phoenix. And I'm wondering, I did a video where I want to talk to her and see why she compete at the Rising Phoenix. Because usually when you win the Miss International Pro qualifier, you compete. You can compete at the Chicago Pro, and also you get automatic buy to the Rising Phoenix. And it's usually like you have three weight classes that have light, middle, and heavy. The top three women get their qualifier, each one and win their division, and the winner of the show, who is overall, she gets her shot at the Rising Phoenix.
I'm back. Um,
Okay, I was explaining about.
you're talking about the Miss International Classic, basically.
Yeah, Kyle, it's no longer as it is. Back in 2013, has Arnold walked quietly behind the female bodybuilder and stabbed in the heart. They dropped it because I think one thing was they think they liked the fact that Iris was winning so many. Iris has the most wins out of all Miss Internationals. You had after that it was I would say Yaxino Keen. I think she had 4 or 5. One of my favorite film about it, Vicky Gates had three. Xenia, no, sorry, Laura Craver had two. Kim Zavetsky had two, and you know that same year she won her second one, she competed at the Miss Olympia. That was in '96, and she beat Laura. I mean, she beat Linda for the title. She became the first Miss International and Miss Olympia.
Yeah, and then Irish and
Actually, yeah,
Jackson both managed to do
Yaxini,
that.
Yaxini, she became the second, and then also she was the first mom Miss Olympia, because you know she has a son. And then after that, Iris kept competing, and you know her first showing was I think in 2010, 2011 when she didn't do that well. I think she took six or seven.
2018. I
Hmm?
mean 2008.
2000, yeah,
2008.
yeah, because somebody said she had like a zit on her butt. Somebody said I believe they was probably from taking a shot from steroids, and it gave her a nasty little thing on her backhand. So, you know, and then I think after that, because she was winning so much, they decided to drop Miss International, and that was the last one was 2013. And then you know, Jake Wood took up the name and he added to the Chicago Pro, but it was no longer it was more of a pro qualifier. So when the top three ladies, I say the top three women, the top women that win each in their weight class automatically get their pro card, and then the winner of the overall, you know, she goes on to compete at the Rising Phoenix. She gets automatic buy. She don't have to do invitation like some of the other ladies do. You know, when back then it
Yeah,
wasn't invitation. Before it was invitation, you know, you win, you automatically go there. You don't have to, you know, because back in 2019, that was the last time there was just a regular show. But since 2020, 21 is an invitational. But now since it's invitational, you know, the winner of the Miss International don't have to, you know, put an application to get invited.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like I said,
So yeah, yeah, I just want to get back to like what my suggestions would be in terms of like
mm-hmm.
which competition should be added to the women's schedule. One thing I noticed was there's a competition literally called the Ronnie Coleman Pro, and here's my thing. It's basically like so there's a competition called the Ronnie Coleman Pro, but there's no competition called the Irish Kyle Pro, despite
Mm.
Irish being far more impressive track record than Ronnie Coleman. And it's like um I kind of don't like that.
Well,
But
truthfully, it's up. You have to think about it, it's up to Iris. You know, Iris, she's a businesswoman, and truthfully, if she's going to do something like that, she either has to put it out of her own pockets, or you know, try to join up with Wings of Strength. That's the
yeah,
only
well,
two ways.
this is in my perfect world, basically, where I have total control. So again, this is like hypothetical and everything.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand. There's been some women who done some shows, but they have women bodybuilding. I know Diana Cadot had a show, but there was no women bodybuilding. Vicky Gates had a show, and there was no women's bodybuilding. One time, he reached out to Yaxina Akeem, and she ever thought about doing a show. She said, "Nah, she wouldn't want to do it." But you know, that would be great. 'Cause, you know, you should, you know, especially and she lives in Florida, in Miami. You know, there's a growing population of bodybuilding in Miami, and that'd be a great place to do a show. You know, you don't have to do Miami. Like you can go to Orlando or Tampa, Jacksonville, Gainesville, uh, cities where the venue would be a lot cheaper for you. You know, and I like your idea because I was thinking about this. I would love to do a show also. If I had the money and the funds, I would love to do a show here in North Carolina. It hadn't been a show, and I think a real female bodybuilding show here in North Carolina since I would say the Jantana. You know, back in the day, Jantana used to be in Charlotte. That's you know a good hop, skip, jump where I stay at. And you know, you used to go between Roanoke, Virginia, and Charlotte every so often, but the most I did in Charlotte. There's a town, a city named Asheville. Asheville is a little bit away from where I stay at. It borders around near, I think, Tennessee and Kentucky, I believe.
I know what that's like.
Yeah, and I was watching a show. I used to watch a show called there was a show Robert Overbine. Remember he used to do Dinner Impossible? Well, was it last year? He brought the show back, did a few episodes, and he did a show in Asheville. And I said, you know what, that's a good place to do because you know what, it's a smaller town. It's a good venue to have it because it'd be cheaper. Also, there's a big food truck thing. So I love to do it like this. Like after the show, I set up food trucks and stuff like that. The competitors can eat for free, workers can eat for free, everybody else got to pay. And that'd be great. I would call it the Tar Heel Classic. I'll make it a pro am. Also, I add on masters. So and also we have women. I would have probably um, 5 divisions for the women, 4 for the men. I would have women's open, women's physique, figure, bikini, and wellness. Because you got to bring the ones to get the people in. That's both bikini and wellness. And then with the men, you have men's open, 212, men's physique, and men's classic. So and I would love to do this to make the prize money. I would say $10,000 for first place, 8,000 for second, 5,000 for third, 3,000 for fourth, and 1,500 for fifth. And give some ladies like a little like a little like $500 like a consideration prize, something like that, or what's the word say? You give the kids a trophy, even though they don't win the game. I forgot what they call that, And also, the men, you have to give men more money, so because they, so it'd be $20,000 for them, but 10,000. I think some women would love to do a show like that. I think I would say like this: how men that get a little more, get 25,000 because I think most of men's open, and then break it down to maybe 10 or 15 to the other division, something like that. And I think maybe 15 for women too. I think it'd be fair. They work just as hard. It costs more than be a female bodybuilding. I mean, I know some ladies I talk to say like they really make money from all stuff like I said, but like I said, the prize money should really be a little more to help you out in the long run because you got to think about it. After cost of travel, cost of food, cost of prepping, cost of of posing suits, makeup, hair, tanning, that's you're in the red pretty much all the time. And I think some ladies would love to have maybe think about it, even at fifth place, $1,500 is a good chunk of change in your pocket. Some women don't. I don't think women don't even get that much in fifth place, and then getting maybe $10,000-$50,000 in first place. That's a good chunk of change. That's already that gets you a bit out of the red.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And if I were to have a show in the area that I live in, it would be called like Delaware Valley Pro, I guess would be the name. That's the area I live in the Delaware Valley Basin, or the Philadelphia Pro.
We call it the Philly Pro. I think there hadn't been a show in Philadelphia in a long time. You call it the Philly Pro.
Yeah, it's been
that'd be
very long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be like a pro AM, and it would be like female bodybuilding, women's physique, men's bodybuilding, maybe fitness as well, and men's classic as well. But there could be others added as well. And pro AM. I think that would work. I don't really know where to hold it. I mean,
well, all you gotta do is like you gotta find a good sized venue. You gotta find a motel with a big convention hall, big enough so you can have the stage. You gotta have lighting. You gotta have the sound has to be just right. There's so much to it. That's why I say if I do something like that, I would love to have somebody to help me with it. You also gotta get sponsors. You gotta find people who want to put money into the show because you don't want to pay all your money into it. People who like you can certain clothing apparel companies, fitness companies, just any company that say, hey, I'm doing a show in Philly. You want to reach out. Hey, you want to invest into it. You put money for this. You can put you have also somebody like how you have certain awards, like especially in prize money. Say hey, you want maybe donate $500-$600 to like best poser or most muscular. Or, there's a list of stuff you can do.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
so anyway, with um, 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 my perfect world where the Miss International comes back. So we got women's bodybuilding starting in March instead of May, basically.
yeah,
Um,
because
I think also I think there should be a show in Texas. I think there should be a show in
I keep
Japan.
I keep saying Texas is another mecca for bodybuilder. I have ladies who I like. My lady who I'm doing an interview with, Dina Lindsay Malazani. She lives in Texas. My dear friend Brittany Brooks, she lives in Texas. Machada, she lives in Texas. They already got I think maybe 5 or 6 shows in Texas already. There's a Texas Pro. There's another couple of shows, but they need women's bodybuilding. We just strength to get some boots to the ground in Texas. Because Texas, there is a big growing mecca in Texas. I know one lady I was talking to. She said she's thinking about moving to Texas because it's cheaper down there. Also, the weather, where she lives upstate, around about I think close to Ohio, near uh, Wisconsin, and she said that it'd be better for her because the weather's a lot not as harsh this time of year. 'Cause I know you live in Pennsylvania, and it's already starting to snow and freeze over, right?
Yes, it's been very cold. It's like the weather is so bizarre, though. Like to be fair, it goes because like the weather nowadays with climate change, it's all over the map. Like
Yeah.
there'll be some weeks where it's like 60, and then the next weeks it'll be like 20 degrees. It's like the weather will not make up its mind.
Well, I'm gonna say that come down south because one week we had it was like maybe 7 degrees down here. Then it rained. It rained last night. Then it was cold, frost everywhere. Next now, I'm sitting right here looking out my window. The sun is. It was earlier this day was cloudy for a good while. Then the sun broke, and now I don't see a cloud in the sky. It's just the weather's crazy. I mean, then we had like I said the last was it Monday. We had that storm that hit. Some say it was I believe it was we had a tornado in our area. So it is crazy. Yeah, climate change. People, the Earth is a creature like anything, and sometimes it has its problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay. Here we're talk about one thing is predictions. Who you think you was? Like I said, I talked about Angela Yao.
Oh, sorry.
Possible.
I wanted to get to just a few more
Go ahead.
suggestions for venues of like where women's bodybuilding should compete. Like, there's no show in the United Kingdom,
Yeah, that's
and
what I talk
that's
about. Yeah,
uh, as you know, the United Kingdom left the EU, so there's a bit of a difference with
Brexit. I know about that. Yeah, I watch the news. Yeah.
it's not as easy to travel from the EU to the United Kingdom now. Um, there's also no shows in Australia. There's no shows in Singapore. There's also like a bunch of like I looked it up. There was like Arnold Classic. They used to have like shows in like
Brazil. Hmm.
Brazil or South America, um, Europe, Africa.
Hmm.
I think an African women's bodybuilding show would be good. Um, United Kingdom.
California, because it's funny. California is where pretty much bodybuilding really grown from. They haven't been any shows out there in years.
Yeah, there's almost no shows in California.
Yeah, that should be. I think. You should do a show like Los Angeles is too big, too expensive. San Diego,
Sacramento.
Sacramento, or San Diego.
Yeah, I'd go with Sacramento. But um, there's also an Asian show in Hong Kong. I don't know if we'd be able to host a show in Hong Kong nowadays
Mhm.
with all the turmoil there. I don't know if you follow that.
Well, you could. Yeah, I follow this. You could do a show in maybe Taiwan or
I
South
would
Korea.
not. I would
What?
not do it in Taiwan
Uh,
because of.
okay, let's say let's make it safer. South Korea.
I know that's pretty safe.
But the thing is that it's not as a big. There's some physique women, but there's so few bodybuilders out of Asia. There's a lady by the name of I got a name of Sun Fong. She is a transgender female bodybuilder. She competes as a female bodybuilder, but she lives as a man. And she was the first female bodybuilder out of Hong Kong to earn a pro card. That's been about a couple of years ago. She last competed at the 2020 Muscle Fest. And that's been a while ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's very few. I mean, there's been some. I just can't list them off my head currently. There's been like very few, maybe a few in the '90s here and there. A lot of them compete as Americans, and but they're of Asian descent.
Yeah, like
But
like like Brendan Ragnar or Muhammad. Those two are from the Philippines.
yeah, yeah. I think South Korea would work pretty good. I guess the only thing to worry about would probably be uh, 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 uh,
Language barriers.
I mean that, and there's always that possibility of war, but hopefully that don't happen.
With
With
South Korea,
North Korea.
well, North Korea is fronting. They're not no real threat. They might be doing stuff like that, but the guy Kim Jong, what's his face? He ain't nobody. He's a baby. This mom said, "Let's watch him." There's no real threat. I wouldn't take North Korea serious as everybody wants to try to. You keep your eye on them, but and I think with South
I
Korea
don't
because
I don't know if like bodybuilding is even
yeah,
bodybuilding. I don't know if that's like a thing in North Korea at all. I don't
no,
really.
no, no,
Um,
no, I doubt it. But South Korea is it's more diplomatic. I'm sorry, diplomatic compared to North. North is still a little bit under communism, still a bit under communism, and they're more open to like. Also, South Korea is one of the countries when the virus hit, they were really prepared. They really were. They even had baseball games even before the Major League Baseball had their games. They had baseball games, and they had put in stuff, and they were really on the game on that. That's why I think you're gonna do like I follow MMA, and at one point they said they're doing one in China. I said you would do a fight like when the champion Wally Zhang, when she was champion, they could have done South Korea if you want to ever do another fight in because right now China and they don't want to do China, but China's very things are kind of think really strict with them. South Korea probably a better place to do a show, do a fight. And I think it's the same thing with South Korea because they've been on the game ever since these virus hit, and I think they'd be better countries to do with that.
yeah, yeah. Because when I was brainstorming some countries and like where to set up women's bodybuilding, there was like some countries where I was like some places where I just had to like put like a big X around it because of just certain things, news-wise, political instabilities, and other things that people need to take into account as well.
Mhm.
Like,
Russia,
uh, I mean, Russia.
there's a
There
good
wouldn't be a women's bodybuilding in Ukraine either, or just
yeah. It's
very
it's
unstable places.
yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot of female about it from Russia. I know Anastasia Lovanova, she earned her pro card. I mean, she earned her qualification, but because of visa issues, she couldn't make it. One lady who I follow, another Anastasia Kovalova, just one of these huge. She's young, has a lot of muscle. She says she want to do shows in the United States. I see in an interview she mentioned that. Just if you can, there was a lady by the name of Victoria Kish, who did a couple of shows this year. That was the Omaha and the Linda Murray Norfolk show, and and they just got a new pro. She's from Russia. She won her her pro qualification at the Roman and Muscle Fest.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I looked up I was also brainstorming hypotheticals, like if there was like a women's bodybuilding show in the Arab or Islamic world. I was thinking like, so I was brainstorming for a second like where it could be held, and the only two places that I could actually find based off what I saw
it's
was
Turkey
either Turkey or
or Israel. Lebanon.
Lebanon.
I thought maybe no,
Israel,
not Israel.
Israel,
No, never mind. No, no, not
Israel
Israel.
is not yeah.
Nah, not
Um,
Israel. That's a mess up there. Yeah, but yeah, Turkey, because Turkey is more, even though it is Middle Eastern, but it's a little bit more. It's more European because it borders right there in Europe. You know,
it's technically not Arab. It's its own. It's a their own culture.
yeah,
They
it's a
somewhat call
mix.
themselves like Central Asian kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's a
it's a mix.
yeah. The problem is though with Turkey is Erdogan is um, Erdogan there, the current president, is kind of I would say a strongman,
Dictator,
strongman authoritarian dictator, whatever you want to
like
call
the president of the Philippines.
him. Yeah,
Yeah,
or any other country.
yeah,
If
yeah.
I
That's
thought
the thing.
Lebanon would probably be a little bit better, even though
Or
the country's kind of a shit show.
this one. This is the Middle Eastern. Dubai.
Yeah, Dubai could probably be a good. I mean, a little bit better. I mean, it's also a autocracy, absolute monarchy, so it's not the most. Yeah, it's like going through like the Middle East. It's like trying to find like a place
Hmm.
um, finding a non-problematic area to hold a women's bodybuilding competition is very difficult. And plus, there's a lot of countries where you just can't hold it. Like, I don't think there's going to be any women's bodybuilding competitions in, say, Taliban-controlled Afghanistan anytime soon.
No, and forget about Iraq or Iran, because the thing is, those guidelines, women have to be clothed. Even women bodybuilders who live there are clothed. I've seen video of a lady working out, and she has her hijab on her head. She's clothed from her legs to her arms. You can't show any flesh. You know, and that's I know that is considered an offense for women to show their bodies like that. As you know, more Priscilla, she's from Iran and she lives in Canada. She said she told in videos that she can't go back to Iran. She does, she'll get arrested and be punished because she's
Okay.
revealing her body.
It, Actually, there's a really good news article I saw about that, where there is a female bodybuilder living in Iran. I think she still does. It's one or two. There's like two of them. One of them I see is always, um, she's always wearing clothes, so you can see her muscles, but you can't. Like
See the detail.
but yeah, you can see the details and okay. But the other one uh, was arrested and fined or whatever for nudity, and nudity for both men and women is showing basically cleavage, like any part of your body. That's what they define as nudity in their culture. There is basically like showing any kind of cleavage, uh, which is basically like showing your wearing like
Like
short
something
sleeves or
like something you wear like a low cut top.
basically like yeah, it's not part of their culture. It's
Yeah.
not Western. It's yeah, I mean that's their own thing. So yeah, so women's bodybuilding has to deal with that, unlike men's. I don't
Yeah.
know. Men's bodybuilding, I don't think it's even.
I feel you don't have an
I have
issue
to
with
think
that.
about that. I mean, I don't have a clue honestly.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of men's bodybuilding from Iran and a few other places, but I just never looked into it that
Yeah.
much. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, the cultural barriers are definitely something to say the least. When you're factoring these things in, and I think the IFBB does factor these things in. Um, they're definitely not going to go to a place that's very unstable, like say Kazakhstan or something like that, where they just burn down their capital building or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
They want to risk the athletes' safety. But anyway, we'll go back to how we think about predictions for the new year. As you know, some ladies who I follow on social media have claimed that they're going to switch up to women's bodybuilding. Some are going to stay. The big question is, if I know you'll follow physique that much, but there's some women division that to me have the aesthetics for women's bodybuilding. One woman who I mentioned before is Anne Marie Moon. She's from France. I know because she just won both the Romanian Muscle Fest, the on her qualification for this year's Olympia. She just did the big man show just maybe a week or so after that. I don't think she has a great physique. She has great aesthetics, but I think she mentioned she's winning in her division. She's not going to go up in women's bodybuilding. Also, as a lady who I just did I did one of my comparison videos about one name, lady by name Miriam Herges. If I got the name wrong, I'm gonna apologize. She lives in the Netherlands. She's originally from Aruba. I even said to her, like, "Have you think about going to women's on IG? I follow on IG. Have you think about going to women's bodybuilding?" She said no. But if you see her, she has. I'm gonna show you a weird picture of her. She has an impressive physique. I think she has some great aesthetics for women bodybuilding. She's kind of small in height and stature, but you know,
so she's kind of like lightweight women's bodybuilding, Diana Cadeau kind of category ish, I guess.
I would say that. I would say that. Let me pull up her um some pictures and see. Let's see. And she also followed on Facebook. She had a comment give to her on Facebook by the great 2020 one Miss Olympia Juliette Bergman, and she said bringing her legs, and I mean I'm telling you I think she has. Let me get sorry. Go ahead. She has some great aesthetics for women's bodybuilding. She's a little more pint sized, but people like Clyde Godot, one of my favorite bodybuilders, Rosemary Jennings. I mean, she really was. I love Rosemary Jennings. I think she was just one of those great ones. So let me see right here, and there she is. This is Marina Hergis. I'm just calling Miss Marina, and she look at her. I mean, you can see she has some great development. I mean, she has she's made put on, like I said, like Juliet said, she put on some more size in her legs, you know, but she has
Yeah.
a small waist, broad shoulders. I mean, I think she competed at a couple of shows this year. She did the Romania Muscle Fest. She lives in the Netherlands. Spain's a lot closer to her to do the big man show, and I'm telling you, she looks impressive.
Yeah. Ooh, geez. Yeah. I think she needs to add a little bit more size, a little bit more to her waist. Um, I think my New Year's resolution this year is I'm going to try to follow at least the amateur women's bodybuilding, at least a little bit more than I usually do, and maybe a little bit more with women's physique pro. Um, only because like that's a lot of the competitors come from there as well, uh, from women's bodybuilding. So I think that's a good way to put my New Year's resolution is following a lot of these amateur shows as well.
Hmm.
Uh, only because of such little info, you don't get like live streaming and stuff like that. But yeah, I think this was a pretty good extremely good for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to unfortunately go soon because I gotta get some, like, actually, you know, do the whole, eat thing.
I
Um,
know what you mean. I'm probably got to start my cooking in maybe another good. It's already about 4:30. I usually start around about a few minutes to 5 and have my supper. But yeah, but this is a good show. We got some things together. Like I said, the season's kind of we don't have much going on, so we got to put some stuff together. We got to figure out something to talk about because we've been out of, like I said, we out of circulation for a while because we had a little issue with my lights went out. Then Jerry couldn't make it for I think he got sick and he had to work, and we like I said, folks who do follow this channel, who do comment, we want to promote women's bodybuilding and get more attention to it. I would love to get to the level of like guys like JB and AJ someday, and I would love to go to more shows. Talk to these ladies, interview some, also stretch out into in other divisions. I've done comparison videos with divisions like physique and fitness, also figure. I like to talk more of those women there. Maybe some bikini women, some wellness women. Wellness
or
has
maybe,
some of that.
or
What?
maybe even men's bodybuilding.
Yeah,
I
we should.
follow that every now and then.
Yeah, we should. Like I said, I've had my man Big Keith here on here. I maybe stretch out to him see if we have any men about this want to do interviews. I mean, do that. Also, maybe reach out to a guy who I follow also. Charles Dragon Curtis, and get him on.
Yeah.
Try to be more. That's one thing is if you get them also on, we get a bigger crowd because they want to follow because the fact is there's a bigger fan base for men's bodybuilding than it is for women. And that's the thing is you try to if you get what people what they want and what they like, they will follow.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So
And this was a pretty good topic to say the least. Before I log out, I just want to say, please be careful out there. It is that time of the year where people start getting sick.
hmm
I've had just in the last few days, one, two, three, four coworkers get sick just in the
oh
last day
gosh.
or so. Uh, two of them, or one of them, no, two positive for COVID. One
Uh,
has food poisoning. One of
oh.
them is under suspicion of having COVID.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Thankfully, I've been fine though.
Yeah.
But everybody else, it's hard times to say the least. Distribution is we're having a very bad distribution crisis with DC. Um, and obviously, if there's less people, that means more. That means more work basically people have to deal with, and it is tiresome to say the least.
Yeah, it's a lot of
It's
stress on you.
yeah,
And then with more people quitting their jobs because when you had when the virus hit, a lot of people were put out of work, and then that time people go like this. That time, people were lazy. People were what people were doing. Now you can go. People, some people were doing it. They were getting their education and certification at home. Now they don't want to work at these jobs, and not making barely enough to stay above water. And you know what? That's not their fault. That's their choice. And these rich companies, if you don't give people money and pay them what they're worth, they're not going to work for you. They got families, they got kids to feed, they got bills to pay. You don't do, you can afford to be broke. The rest of us can't.
yeah. It's a problem, but yeah, that's a. I mean, the problem with the thing is a much bigger problem, which is how we structure society. And I could go back. I mean, we could go back in time and talk about FDR's job guarantees that he had, where um, basically people had a job of last resort, which would be like a job that you could uh, get from the government or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't have to worry about you know um, being unemployed or at least
Mm-hmm.
unemployed for a
Yeah,
long period of time.
yeah. Because FDR he created the welfare system, he created unemployment, Social Security, things to help people that needed it. Because you know what, it's us who are working now. Even though I don't work anymore, I was working. It's us that keep this country going, not these rich people that keep take, and don't put that back in. The reason why we have an inflation because when people weren't working and weren't putting in money back into the system, it kind of affected the how the country is going to how the country went. It's not that the fact that you can blame it on whatever president. I blame it on the last guy, not this guy. He had to cover for the other guy's mess, but when you take and people who actually put the money into this country to keep it going are not working, then you're gonna have blowback from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then again, I think to a certain extent, they may have let the virus get out of control,
Mm-hmm.
probably just so they can make a shitload of money. Honestly, I mean, I've come to that conclusion that
Yeah.
why let a bad thing go to waste?
Yeah.
Power, control, um, you know, you the one thing that people don't talk about is one of the people that push for vaccine skepticism are the vaccine companies themselves. And you're probably thinking, what are you talking about? It makes no sense. Yeah, well, actually, no, it does, because then you could sell all these boosters, and people just keep getting mutations and stuff. If you had everybody vaccinated, you could get rid of the virus, just like
Mm-hmm.
smallpox or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Because
people, they fall for reverse psychology.
yeah. And the thing is, people don't want to think about science. I know you have your faith in God like that, but you know what? Science like this, like my man JG said, men lie, women lie, numbers don't, and that's science. It's numbers. And if you put in the stuff to protect each other, and stop listening to stupid people who tell you, "Oh, take this," everybody get no. Follow what the science is saying and how it works. Other countries have done it, and they, sometimes, yeah, some countries, they might have issues, but others have done it, and they have done better. You just use common sense. Stop listening to people who tell you that if you get the shot, you're gonna get sick. Yes, you're gonna get sick because when I got the shot, my first shot, I didn't get too sick. I had a little fever, and then it was over by the time I went to bed. It didn't last no more than maybe 2 or 3 hours. It was a slight little fever, not that heavy. I wasn't, my sisters, it's all depending on how your immune system works. Some people might be a little bit compromised. But others, if you have a strong immune system, you're good and healthy. And me, I should be careful because the fact is, I have a heart condition, and most definitely, my older sister told me, go ahead and get your vaccination. Go ahead and get yourself taken care of. I can't go back and get my booster for another 6 months. I went to try to get my booster, but I told me I had to wait 6 months.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Well, I think this was a pretty good conversation, and I'm going to head on out. But everybody just stay safe, and I'll talk to you next week about another
this time,
topic.
yeah,
Yep.
we'll fix something out for because, like I say, it's gonna be really, yeah. I appreciate it. That's my man Jared. We'll fix something out together for next week because you know what, it's not much going on. Not a lot of shows. But we try to find subjects to work on because you know what, it's kind of hard. It's difficult. But anyway, like my man Jared said, be safe out there. Be careful. Talk to your doctor. Follow the guidelines. Don't always listen to somebody else who don't know nothing. You listen to people who are not doctors, who have no expertise, don't understand how things work. They just go on because of the fact of their fear and paranoia. Vaccines has been around for years. Vaccines for yellow fever, smallpox, measles, polio. They exist because the fact was to save them. And also sometimes, yes, some people would die, but that's how life is sometimes. But anyway, thanks to my man Jared, the hand of the emperor. Thank people like I like to thank KL, ain't no angel, my sister Miss Fishiana Fights for coming through. Thank you for supporting this channel. Like, comment, subscribe. Also, again, support the women. No, support the people. Men and women support bodybuilding. I'm gonna say this again. If you're somebody who has the means and the funds, reach out to some of these ladies. Reach out to these men. Sponsor somebody. And like I said again, don't look for something out of it. Just do it because the fact is you want somebody to succeed in their career. Here's your mail order address page, aka the Emperor of Bodybuilding Talk, and for my man, the hand of the King, Jared. Like, subscribe, share, comment, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye. Happy New Year.